robots are the savior.
Hope that Ludwig Göransson wins it.
Bob Iger's stepping down.
There was a few plot holes that didn't make sense to me. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gofor Podcast. My name is Sam Hicks. I'm joined with my co-host,
Grant Seat.
Grant, what do we have going on in the trades this week?
Okay, so I think one of the things that stood out to me, kind of what we talked about last time with Iron Lung, Markiplier's movie, and how opening weekend it only lost out to Sam Raimi's movie by $2 million. Jeez. So it dominated box offices. Clearly, it made all its money back. You know, a sub $3 million budget, whereas Sam Raimi's movie is like $40 million. So, I mean, the margin, the budget to profit is just astronomical for Markiplier and all that. So, I think everybody's probably scrambling to figure out how can, we replicate this and do it again. Obviously, he's going to either have a sequel or he's going to have another movie in the next 5 or so years. So, that was pretty big. Another thing, I thought Sora, the AI app for videos, text to video, that's down almost 50% month-to-month downloads since, I think, October. And the reason for that is all the companies started to crack down on all the IP and stuff. So now that they're not using pirated IP and, Pikachu and SpongeBob videos were really big, and now they can't have access to the same properties and whatever that are owned. I think people are just less interested in it.
Do you think some of these companies, I know Jake Paul made a deal with Sora where he got paid, I think it was $20 million just to use his name and image.
Yeah.
Do you think more companies will start to do stuff like that to make profit off of it from Sora?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is hopefully where they want to head.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
But I don't think the right boundaries are in place yet. I mean, a couple weeks ago, Matthew McConaughey trademarked and copyright his likeness, his image, the way he talks, his all right. He trademarked all of that, so that's kind of keeping it away from AI platforms. But now that it's protected, it's always something he could sell. So eventually, yeah, maybe he'll do the same thing Jake Paul did.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you got before I give my take?
Bob Iger's stepping down, so this will be his second time. First time was 2020, and that lasted about 2 years, took up the role again. His contract's up this year, December 31st, but supposedly he's eyeing an early exit. Yeah. And then the parks operator or CEO, whatever his title is supposedly supposed to step in as the CEO of overall.
Which is a pretty big deal. And Bob Iger stepped down last time right before the pandemic or during the pandemic. And he, I think, saw the trajectory that Disney was going on. And Disney has had some insane hits in the past couple of years, but they've also had a lot of flops. And I think part of the board wanted him to come back, and he did. So I'm surprised that only a couple years into his role as CEO again, he's already stepping down. It's kind of a shock to me. But
yeah, I mean, he's getting older and everything.
Yeah, good point.
He's been there since, I think, 2005 or so.
Long time.
So, I mean, that's 21 years.
Yeah.
Give or take when he was gone. But, yeah, so, I mean, I guess that was another thing that was just interesting. I mean, Disney's a relatively new company. It's only like 100 years or so. And it's just, there haven't been a lot of CEOs or people in charge. So, and each one's made their mark. So it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see where he takes the company and what happens next. Couple things, or one thing, I guess, for me, and this is old news. This has been talked about numerous times, but I know that you and I will talk a lot about it. What do you think about Sinners getting nominated for 16 Oscars? I personally loved the movie. I thought it felt very new and different than all the franchise films we are seeing nowadays. However, some people didn't think that it should have been nominated for 16 Oscars. I don't know if it should have been nominated for 16. 16 sounds like a lot. But what are your thoughts on it?
I'm
I'm blowing the horn. I think that's just terrible. I think whoever, I mean, and I get like people are voting for this, so it's not one person saying that it deserves this. And clearly there's enough people that think it does. I'm not in that category. I think, I watched it and I could recognize that it was good, and I understood it for the most part and enjoyed it. But, since it's come out, I've never thought about seeing it again. Haven't really thought about it at all, actually. Yeah, there's some good parts to it, but like 16 Oscars.
Yeah.
I mean, that's potential to beat out the most Oscar wins in history.
Yeah.
Which is, Return of the King, and I'm totally blanking, but there's another one that's also won 11 Oscars. And when I think about Return of the King and I compare it to Sinners, I mean, it's not the same caliber.
Yeah,
and we've known for a while now that we're not working with the same caliber of films. I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy. There was a lot of movies that I did like that I didn't see get any nominations, and I think, were way better stories and way, better told.
Yeah.
So I don't know. 16, a little much. Give it 4 or 5. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and I will say, though, I do hope that Ludwig Göransson wins it, because I do think that he's an incredible composer, and I believe he's won an Oscar before for his composing, but maybe I'm wrong about that. If he hasn't yet, he needs one.
He might have for Oppenheimer or something.
Yeah, because he is absolutely incredible, and I do think that the music made the movie, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's great filmmaking. Michael B. Jordan did an incredible job. Ryan Coogler's a great director, but I think Ludwig Göransson's composing is just out of this world. He's so talented.
My problem with movies like that, and that's why, like, I love Robert De Niro movies, but I've stayed away from Alto Nights and some other ones. Yeah. The whole playing two characters or playing twins and being the main character, like, it just feels so gimmicky to me. Like, to me, like, do we really need you to play both people? Like, I much more enjoy films, and I get the technical achievement aspect, whatever. And I think it wasn't nearly as gimmicky as some other ones I've seen, but, like, I don't know. The whole time I was just thinking about, like, oh my gosh, it's Michael B. Jordan twice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas, like, to me, that felt extremely distracting from the rest of it. I kind of get the point with the movie, but just that idea in general feels like super gimmicky to me.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think part of it has to do with the actor, right? Like, I agree. I've watched Alto Nights a couple months ago, and although they give him different prosthetics, he looks the same. Like, you're like, that is Robert De Niro twice. And he's not, and in that movie, he's not playing twins. He's playing two people from totally different families. And then the only other movie I can think of is Legend with Tom Hardy. And I think that movie does a good enough job of differentiating the characters where you don't feel like they're too similar. And in this movie, it's so blatant. Like, Smoke and Stack are totally different characters, and, like, their outfits are totally different. So, but I will say, you're right. Especially when you know, like, it's Michael B. Jordan. Everyone knows Michael B. Jordan. If you did it with a no-name actor, I think it would work better. People would be less. But you see Michael B. Jordan, you think it's Michael B. Jordan. And there's no way around it, but...
Yeah, I think, like, too, one of the few movies that kind of does it similar that I actually loved was The Prestige. I mean, you've got a million Hugh Jackmans and a million Christian Bales, or I guess only 2 Christian Bales. But the reason I think it works better is because they're playing into the fact that it is the same person multiple times.
Right.
And then when Christian Bale plays twins, like, it's more believable because they're not doing the gimmick right in front of your face. But, with that said, it was pretty seamless. Like, it was like there were 2 people.
It was. Yeah.
But to me, that's just not, I'm the wrong audience for that.
Yeah. So the consensus is 4 or 5 would have been great, but 16 is overkill.
Yeah. I mean, and what would you nominate it for?
Honestly, like, they're probably mostly technical nominations, to be honest with you. Like, the story is great, but is it that good?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the cinematography and the shooting parts in IMAX and all that really bothered me. That didn't make any sense to me, and it was super incoherent. It felt like every time it happened, it took me away. Because you're in that world, and then everything changes for a second. You go, what? Where am I? Like, what's going on? And to me, I'm like, that's like the opposite. I mean, anything you do in filmmaking is like, it's the art of subtlety. So like with editing and all that, the goal of editing is for nobody to notice the edit.
Right.
You know? Or they'll notice it's seamless or whatever. And there's a lot of aspects of that in filmmaking. And this movie felt like it was doing the opposite of like, look at this. We did 2 people at one time. Look at this. You know, we're shooting in IMAX and normal cameras, 70 millimeter or Panavision or whatever. And then, we're doing, all these other like gimmicks. I like Ludwig Göransson's music. So, maybe I'd nominate him for that. I would nominate Michael B. Jordan for leading actor. Set design, all that was great. But, I don't know, some of the technical things really pissed me off, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Maybe it's a hot take. I don't know.
Well, so let's talk about movies we've watched this week. I'm going to start with one of them. I have 2 that I've watched this week. The first one being September 5th. Came out in 2024, I believe, maybe 2025. I think 2024.
I think it was 2024.
It is an incredible movie. Like, it is so good. I think that the pacing of the movie is fantastic. It's an hour and 28 minutes. It's perfectly timed. And we were talking about this the other day, but the whole thing takes place in the broadcast room or the newsroom. And the only time you leave the studio is through the eye of the broadcast cameras. And I also think that a lot of movies try to do this, but I think this movie did it seamlessly. They used real news footage from the day. Yeah. And I think a lot of movies try to do that, or they'll throw the main character into that broadcast and try and do like a Forrest Gump kind of situation. But I think just using the actual live broadcast footage was perfect. Like they did such a good job. So I thought that movie was great. I know you have an opinion about it because you also watched it pretty recently.
Yeah. No, I mean, I watched it before last year's Oscars because I was like, this movie's going to blow everything out of the water. It was the most enjoyable movie I think I had watched all year.
Yeah.
And, crickets pretty much.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's such an underrated movie. It's so good.
But this is what I'm saying. Not to go back, but back to the Sinners thing is, why are we nominating it for 16 things when there's other movies that got 0 nominations that I liked a whole lot more?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we're a whole lot better as an audience member.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well, there's always some politics involved when it comes to the voting.
But we're also not, we're not making movies for the technical achievements. We should be storytelling.
Yeah. No, true. You're right.
And I feel like we're losing it a lot because we're, how can we innovate and everything? And that's good, and like that is kind of what the basis of filmmaking has been, but it's always been innovation for storytelling.
Yeah.
September 5th, wonderful.
Yeah.
I love
great
that
film.
movie.
Great film. And it really is. And for our generation who doesn't know the story of that Olympics, I think it's the 72 or 73 Olympics.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
For someone like, I was watching it with my dad, and my dad remembers watching that broadcast. I mean, at the end of the movie, it says 900 million people watched that broadcast live.
That's absurd.
And it was the first time that a terrorist attack had ever been recorded live on air, which is nuts. So I think the history behind the film is so incredibly insane, and I think it's really good for our generation to watch a movie like that, because I had never heard about that before I watched the movie. I don't know if you had heard about it before you watched the movie.
Yeah.
But most people I know, probably our age, would never have known that existed without a movie like that. And the pace, like I said, back to the pacing, it's so good. It's so fast-paced. There's no downtime. Even from the start of the movie, there's no downtime. It gets right into it. So, yeah, I have nothing to complain about that movie. Another movie I saw, and then we'll get over to you. Last night I watched Arco, which is a French animated film. I went to it with my brother, who has been dying to go see it, and it was really good. I didn't know what to expect going into it. I don't really watch like animated movies, to be honest, or shorts or anything, unless it's like a Pixar film. So it was something that was out of my realm a little bit, but I thought it was really good. I do think though there was a few plot holes that didn't make sense to me, and the other people I went with were talking about it too. But I think that it's just being glazed so hard, and it's Oscar nominated. That's the reason why I went and saw it.
Can you give me a brief overview of what it is without spoiling it?
I think I'm gonna have to spoil it. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it and don't listen to anything I'm about to say.
Skip ahead. I guess.
Skip ahead to the next segment. But it's basically like this kid from the future. Everyone lives in the sky in the future, and he is trying to learn how to fly, and he falls and he lands in the past, and it's this kind of like dystopian world with robots that help people and stuff. I'm doing a bad job of explaining it, but
it kind of reminds me of Wild Robot. That was nominated last year.
True, and there's a lot. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of similarities between the role that the robot plays in the people's lives. Like, obviously, it's different because Wild Robot was animals, but it's that same like robots can feel. And there was an element to that where I was like, this feels very similar. It makes sense why this is nominated. But basically, I mean, it's about the kid's journey to get back to the future. Yeah. And these two characters become good friends and they have to say goodbye. And it's a good film, but there's a moment that I was like, how are they explaining that? And then they explained it at the end, but it didn't make any sense. And I like kept looking it up, and everyone else was saying the same thing. It didn't make any sense. What
was this?
So it was either half that, or it was half like, this movie deserves every Oscar. It was so good. So I think the glazing of that film is a little much, but I really did enjoy it. It was probably like 2 hours. I don't really know, but or maybe an hour and a half, and it was a good pacing. I was interested. I was following along the whole time. But also, like, would I go see it again? Probably not, but at least I could say that I saw it. So I don't know.
How interesting is it, too? I was just thinking about this. How as soon as we start getting, really highly developed AI, and access to it easily, now we have Sora where we can make videos and stuff. Now we're watching movies about robots with what I assume is, AI-like systems and programming helping us. Yeah. So, forever, since maybe the 60s or the 50s, we've always feared robots and said one day technology is going to take over the world. That's been a huge fear. And now we're making movies where robots are the savior.
Yeah, we're accepting it.
Yeah. So what does that say about us? Are we actually feeling like that, or are we hoping that that's true?
Dang, that's a great question, and you're right. And for anyone who's seen the movie, he's spot on. Like throughout the movie, the police, the fire department, the maids, the house, the people who take care of babies, like the babysitters, they're all robots.
Yeah.
So
and we've seen it before. We WALL-E.
have, right? Yeah, but even then, that's early 2000s, right? So it's like we have movies like The Terminator, where everyone is very aware of the potential danger of AI and robots and automated systems. And you're right, now we have movies coming out where
we say that, no, they're the good guy,
they're good.
Actually.
Yeah, it's nuts. So
I don't know. To me, that feels dangerous.
No,
it feels
I
dangerous
agree.
to say that we're helpless without, on our own.
I agree.
It feels dangerous to be like, let's rely on something greater than us and then put it on man-made objects, robots,
Totally. I totally agree. And this is one of those things like we can talk about another time or right now, but AI taking over film. I mean, like people using it, especially young filmmakers now, using it because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to build AI sets than it is to...
And I don't blame them.
No,
I don't either. As I hate it, and I'll try not to do it.
Right.
If I was 10 years younger right now and super into film like I was, I'm probably going to use AI to say, I'm on a spaceship right now.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the same. It's no different than us using a green screen effect in iMovie at 12 years old.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
we're just using what the technology allows us.
Right.
So I guess, I mean, if you have a $2 million budget and you're a first-time filmmaker, you're going to be using AI, whether you like it or not in this day and age. And it's,
So, I mean, in that budget, I mean, $2 million, that's just getting smaller and smaller.
100%.
Yeah, it does less and less.
For sure. So we can talk more about that in another episode, but I want to hear about a movie you saw this week and what you thought about it.
Okay. I watched a lot this week.
You did.
My goal this year has been to watch one movie every day, or at the end of the year, 365 movies.
we'll see. I mean, last year was significant improvement on years before. I think I watched 201 movies.
Jeez.
So then I was like, all right, let me up that. Because I learned a lot. Like, watching that many movies, I was like, wait, I'm, like, learning way more about filmmaking by doing this. I learned more about writing, shooting, directing, everything, and just more about the actual filmmakers. So my goal this year has been to watch one for every single day. So far, I'm caught up. But, you know, that took me watching 5 movies. I watched 5 movies on Sunday, I think. I watched, oh my gosh, let me see if I can remember them all. I watched Dusk Till Dawn. I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I watched Ocean's 11 from 1960. Then I watched the new Disneyland Handcrafted, and I finished it with The Departed. The Departed was the only movie I had seen before. And I think, like, to me, it was so cool to jump from the 90s to the 60s to documentary filmmaking and then back to the early 2000s with The Departed. And you can kind of see, like, I've been watching a lot of Scorsese movies, and you can just see, like, the influence but the change in the filmmakers. So, yeah, I mean, and the movie that stood out to me the most was probably Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It wasn't my favorite, but, oh my gosh, I was like, I've never seen a movie like that. And I love Johnny Depp. He's one of my favorite actors. But that whole movie, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. But I was like, I bet you I feel exactly the way, you know, I should right now.
Yeah.
And just, like, a lot of innovation in the storytelling and everything. And I love Rango, and they have a reference to it in the beginning of Rango. So it was cool to finally, you know, do my due diligence and watch that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a movie I haven't seen yet that I think I need to.
The poster, if you look at the movie poster, that is what the movie is. Like, I love poster art, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it's as awesome as it is confusing, as it is crazy, as it is just, like, so much fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's good. Okay, so we're going to give an update on the short film. We don't have many updates right now, but pretty much nothing has changed since last week. However, you have now 45 pages written of the feature film that the short is going to be the proof of concept for. So right now we're still just working on scheduling. You're working on writing the feature. We're working on tweaking the short script. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of the early stuff locked in, so we're not really scrambling right now for anything. We're just taking our time with getting the right people involved and making sure that the story is one that's worth being told. And that's part of, you can talk more about it a little bit, but part of that is writing the feature out helps us better understand the reasoning for the short and what are the underlying things that aren't being said in the short that will be said in the feature. Like, what are the small details we can add? So that's kind of where we're at with that. Anything to add?
I mean, there's not really much update. We're a month out.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing we did right so far is I feel like we picked the perfect date to shoot because it was far enough for us to get everything done.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so far that we were going to be sitting on our hands for, 2 months.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not much updates.
For sure. All right. Well, I think we are down to our last segment.
Yes.
Which is our favorite segment. The Old Hollywood Word of the Day.
Yes.
Now, we should have done this word in the first episode.
This should have been the first word we did.
Totally should have been, but we
flubbed it.
We totally screwed it up. This will be it now, though.
Okay, so the Old Hollywood of the day. Maybe we'll start calling it that.
The Hollywords.
The word of the day, and maybe this doesn't count as Old Hollywood, but it's Gofor, which is also the name of our podcast.
Subscribe, like.
So Gofor Boys is just a nickname for PAs. It'd be go for coffee, go for scripts. You're going and fetching everything, and you're doing that so much that people just start calling you Gofor Boys.
Yep.
Hence, Gofor Podcast. We're in the stage of, aspiring Gofor Boys, I guess, even right now.
Yeah. In and out of being a Gofor Boy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Wherever you're watching, or if you're watching, please like and subscribe. If you're listening, stay tuned for the next episode next week. We have shorts that come out every day, and we have a podcast that drops weekly.
Yeah.
So be listening, be watching, share it with your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching.
The end.